go. Okay, welcome back. Season 2, You Don't Say, episode 1. My name is Busiso Mzolo. I'm with my boy here, Tab Zero.
As always, boys. You good?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm just glad to be back. So, guys, we've been away for a minute now, fixing things, fixing that. But we're back. We're in a fresh space, and we're really excited to bring you season 2 of You Don't Say. As we know, if you coming through for the first time, or rather tuning in for the first time, You Don't Say is a platform as a machi that we come through. We have like cool conversations, anything relating to young adults, especially amachimbosi. But yeah, Tab Zero.
Poison, I see now you have the intro on lock these days, eh?
I'm practicing.
I sure about it. We're all about conversations, as Buddha has said. And on today's episode, we're trying to make sure we come with a big bang. The return has to be all about the heat, and we're coming through with the heat on this episode. And today we are talking to a very young and inspiring brother.
Very well
spoken. You'll hear him. Yeah. The homie is running a very cool project by the name of Table Manners.
For sure.
So the initiative is all about bringing Amachita into a very intimate space.
For sure.
Sharing insights and in a very breakfast vibey setup. And the whole idea of that is to sow leadership and self-discovery through themed conversations.
Yeah, that sounds very nice.
I had to read that, man, because just
you
to make sure
chop it up.
I'm not even gonna say much about it. Maybe he will hash it out. I'm talking about none other than Cebo, Latha. Exe, my nigga.
Thank you guys. Mina.
Easy. Maybe just to get a little bit of insight of who's Cebo.
So Cebo in himself is he's Xhosa but Joba Xhosa. Surname Latha. I'm 27 years old, and I work in the advertising space, account management. I don't know if I can disclose my company at this point.
Nah, it's good.
We don't want to know.
You're here as Cebo today.
Yes. I'm also a postgrad student, studying towards my honors degree in business sciences. And most importantly, I am the founder and the host of the Table Manners Breakfast. Which is what you guys had.
Tell us a little bit more. How did that come about?
So, it was a real thing for me to start up Table Manners, but it's been something that I've been meaning to do. I just took some time to get to the idea. But really, I've had I've gone through the most. I think 2018 has been the worst year for a lot of people. But in itself, I think it was in my hardship that I was like, you know what? A lot of guys also need this type of platform. In as much as it would help me, I think it would be a good conversation to have with other people in a collaborative way, because I've went through a lot of therapy, costly exercise, but I think the value in talking and collaboration is way better than just sitting and just talking to someone that you don't know and that's just actually analyzing you, as opposed to sharing the experience with you. So that's where it really came from, and it became a breakfast thing as it grew, and I realized that people just sit on Saturday mornings and they don't have anything to do, so once a month come through and have a conversation.
Actually, you know what? We didn't do any justice in the intro of what Table Manners is all about. Maybe give us a clearer picture of what the project is all about, and it's an event, obviously. Maybe give us what really takes place on the day of the event. Okay,
cool. So Table Manners, like Tapelo said, is a intimate bring and share breakfast, basically for young men. For us to kind of sow some sort of leadership and guidance towards discovering yourself as a man. But I think that overall an umbrella theme is instilling some sort of mental health within men. So the idea is around theme conversation. So every month we have a theme, and every month we invite a guest who also kind of shares the perspective of certain situation according to the theme as well. I think one thing that's really important to note is that it's completely free to join the table, but it is limited because you have to keep it small from a qualitative point of view. So that's what it really is, and I'd like to say that for table manners to be born, I think it's on a lived insight that guys have like this self-imposed resistance towards like emotional issues or even mental issues, and I think we've inherited it like culturally over the years, and really it's about rewriting the narrative of what a man should or shouldn't be, really, you know. I don't think there's a perfect answer, but it's part of building a new identity for ourselves, you know. Yeah. I
mean, it's really dope. I mean, when I look at your feed, I realize you don't document in an audiovisual way. All we see is like these cool images, and then you post like your really insane insights and observations. Has that always been the strategy, that you just come through emergency and then you do a post sort of recap on your social media pages?
Yeah, definitely. I think the idea of that came from trying to extend the conversation beyond the table.
Sure.
So I think it is important that whoever's going through something, they need to also kind of share it with someone. I mean, those insights, from the breakfast that we just had, the first one that we had, I was very overwhelmed. And went home, I didn't even know what to do with myself because it was just so heavy, you know. But I was like, you know what, I need to channel this in such a way that will relieve me by letting other people know what other people are going through, you know. So I do write now and then. I'm actually in the process of writing a book. But I think those insights as well are good from a point of extending the reach and pushing the urgency of mental health amongst men, you know. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay, yeah. Cameraman. Cameraman is all out here. Okay, yeah, you know, I think it's very interesting, because I was having a conversation with Sebo. I was like, yo, this is dope, man. And it feels like, I don't want to say it's limited, but the idea of just having 10 people, and then obviously it only impacts the 10 that's sitting there. Do you have any other ideas of how you can make it more accessible to, for instance, for someone who is not in Joburg, you know, maybe someone is Bloom and reads an insight and feels like they resonate with that?
I think one thing that is quite important with these sessions is the quality of the exercise. So keeping it at 10 is quite good for what we're trying to do. But we also have this idea of growth, but growth doesn't.
Okay, maybe, sorry to interject. Can you just tell us what are you trying to do? Mauti, just keeping it at 10 is what.
Because I don't think people would be as honest and open if like we had a group of 50 guys, and we won't be able to accommodate all those questions or experiences within a set period of time. Unfortunately, I don't see this as a conference type of thing. I just see it as a conversation, you know, so it's easily manageable. But going back to the point of extending it, remember that I think growth is not necessarily in numbers, but if we can actually, it's part of the plan to actually move it around so that we touch more people, even if it's 10 per community. Sorry.
Dope.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Your insights are very interesting.
Yeah.
So I think let's get into that.
Yeah.
So there's a one that you put up that really so I'm just gonna read it.
Okay, I think there's someone at the door.
Okay.
Just read out that.
Okay, no, I'll read it. Okay, our cameraman will get him or her. Is it a him or her? Anyway. So this is for you, bruh. This is an insight that you posted, right? Or observation. I don't know what it is. We need to stop viewing gender roles as a mutually exclusive trait, or rather we need to stop viewing gender roles as a mutually exclusive trait that defines masculinity or femininity. Yes. So as Amagens, our first episode, if I'm not wrong, we sort of touched into the whole roles, gender roles, you know. So it's interesting that you have an opinion on that, and then we struggled to get to that. So how do you define a man outside of his role? We want to touch feminine stuff. So how would you then define Usbali without the role?
While I was doing my research on the show, I did come across that. I think Tapilo was touching on that. You know, is it possible to define a man out of his role? You know, but before I answer the question, I have to mention that I wear 3 pairs of pants every single day. I wear 2 shirts underneath my shirt every single day, 2 pairs of socks every single day, regardless of the weather. I stay with my parents. I earn pretty much okay salary, and I didn't go to
pretty much okay. Hey, pretty much okay. Yeah.
And I didn't go to the mountain. But one thing for sure is that I know that I'm still a man.
It's true.
You know, so I learned a lot from Miles Monroe in terms of how he defines what a man is, and he really breaks it down for three components, which is his biological features, gender identity, and then his what do you call it, sexual orientation. Obviously, biological features being you have a penis.
Yes.
I'm not sure if I can say that on the show.
You can say it on the show. That's it. We'll just
and then you have your gender identity being like your feminine or masculine expressions, and then obviously you have your sexual orientation, which is like either heterosexual, homosexual, bisexual, or asexual. You know, but I think in defining a man, it's been in like we have been taught through history and culture that a man should find himself in roles, and that is in really a man's ability to provide, a man's ability to protect or procreate, you know. But I think where that insight really came from is that what happens when a man cannot do that, you know, and when a woman actually does that, what do you do? And yet she still expects you to be her man, and you're like, actually, what is my purpose here? What am I doing here? You know. So, but what I was saying on that insight on that post was that we need to allow women to take from the plate of masculinity, and men need to be able to also take from the plate of femininity, and see masculinity and femininity as like two traits that we should incorporate or help build what a man should be in today's society, instead of seeing them as separate things. You know? Yeah.
Tabs, are you satisfied?
Dope, man. Brother, you're very clued up on these things. Okay, well, my interesting one that I picked up from your timeline was men are not lonely yet alone.
Yes.
And inspired truth that men live in silence.
Yes.
Hey,
this loom is
it's you. It's not us. It's you.
I think yes, it's a true insight. Men are not lonely from a point of snamachita.
Sure.
Fair, you know. But that machita, it's not like even a qualitative relationship. You know, every time we come across somebody, hey, score in, or that girl, yo, birthday this year, you know, let's go have drinks. But when it comes to critical thinking and critical decision making, we're often left alone. And the sad part about that is that we don't see a conversation or a talk as an avenue of trying to solve your solution or make better informed decisions, you know. So that's where it really came from in terms of that idea of men are not lonely, yet they are alone.
And how do you answer that though?
In terms of,
you know, I was speaking to a friend of mine the other day. How are you doing? I'm like, nah, I'm good. At that time, I was not good. But it's that idea that, Uti, I'm not sure even if you have the capacity to hear me out. You know, do you even have time to hear? Do you even have the depth?
And I think sometimes it's one sees it can find out if I'm saying, nah, my mom is about to lose her house, she's in debt, it's like so we kind of bottle it in, and as you said, culturally, traditionally, so
I think it's like I said, it's a cultural thing that we've been taught over generations to have, that a man is this person that has some sort of a self-imposed resistance, you know, of like being human, like it's a human thing to ask for help, you know. But often we place this on our pride as guys, and then which kind of overwhelms us in a lot of places, because if someone knows like something deep about me or a weakness in my masculinity, we have this idea that I'm less of a man, you know. So unfortunately, that's what we've been taught, and we need to have the conversation. I think that's what table manners is really about, is to present that option of talking, which is actually, mind you, a feminine thing to do, and really introduce it as a solution. I mean, women are doing so well. You see it all the time. Women, if you break up with a woman, or if a woman's going through a lot, they probably recover better than men.
I think I can.
And it's really from a point of talking.
Yeah.
You know, hi Choma, you know.
Cool man now, boy.
Yeah.
You look like he.
I don't know. I went.
Don't matter, my man. I feel you. Now I'm going through the most at the moment.
Yeah, I saw that.
Hey, you lead.
And you even said something on your timeline about people should never come into a relationship with the expectation of marriage.
Yes, I think
that's to that extent, boy.
My boy.
hey. Okay, we're not gonna get into that because that's very personal.
The last one before we wrap things up. This one really resonated with me on a personal level.
Yes.
You said men are trash is abusive language.
Yeah.
And I find that's true. I fully agree with you. Before I maybe share, but what did you mean with this statement?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, just think before because I saw people came for you.
Man, I've had a lot of time to think actually because of it. Yes, there's a lot of activity online on that statement, but I strongly believe so. And the reason why is that, first of all, saying that men are trash comes from like men killing, abusing, and probably emotionally abusing women as well, and you know, it's mostly based or founded on a criminal act against women, and I think it's been misconstrued and misused really to describe events that are not favorable towards women, whereas like cheating or kind of leaving the relationship and then you get labeled men are trash. But I think the core of the idea or the movement of men are trash is from, I think it criminalizes men, like the whole gender of men. It poses them as like these animals, as opposed to seeing them as counterparts in the society. And trust me, I'm not a trash man. I don't think I'm trash. Yes, I've left relationships. Me too. Yes, I've had an event where I cheated on someone.
Don't put me on the spot. I always get in trouble for saying wrong things here. So let Cebo say what he has to say.
I've done all of that, but I don't think that I'm a criminal. And I don't think that what I've done is criminal. So therefore, I don't deserve that label. That men are trash, you know. And in a lot of ways, I think I understand the sentiment and where it comes from, but I think the way it is, so it bullies its way in men's faces to kind of push the point that yes, these issues are happening, which these issues do happen. But I think if a rapist rapes you, then he's a rapist. If someone kills you, then he's a murderer. You know, if someone abuses you, he's an abuser. But you can't say that men are trash. You know.
Maybe I want to know. Maybe as you say, it's an abusive language. Don't you think, for the purposes of language, it has sort of like helped raise more awareness and helped us to pay more attention? Because we know rapists were there, murderers were there, but once the term came into place, it allowed us to also sort of like pay much more attention and look closer into the issues.
Yeah.
So don't you think rather for that purpose it's justified well?
Yes, definitely. I think for the urgency of what's happening, yes, it did its job. But like I said, now that it's kind of a bully tactic in actually pushing the initiative, you know. But like I said also in my comments, is that it's a double-edged sword, by way that it further perpetuates fear in women, and it doesn't help women feel free around men, because there's this huge stigma around men. And then the second part of that is that it kind of debilitates men to a point that we don't know how to handle women. And it becomes difficult because you may be pursuing a girl and you're like, he's there, you know, the next thing you could be stepping over a boundary that you didn't know, you know. Not that I'm like saying, hey, do it, but it makes it awkward for guys, you know. They don't know which role to play anymore, you know. So that's why I think that it's not a helpful thing. Remember, you can't really build by destroying others, you know. So I think we need to reword it, like leave in the movement, yes, that, you know, there are women that are being abused and we need to do something about it, but you cannot destroy someone else by trying to build yourself, you know.
I'm really looking forward to this book that you're writing. Elizabeth, maybe just wrap things up now. How important is it to sort of like instill these values to the boy child? You know, because I get a feeling that with our generation, women have sort of like lost all hope in us, and maybe now the focus is on the younger boys that are coming after us. How important is it? I'm not saying all hope is lost. I can feel Buddha's energy right here. What is this guy saying now? But I was just trying to get into the lay point with how important is it now to start having these conversations with the young boy, you know?
It's really important. I think it's hard in the initial stages because I think from the age of 0 to like around about 6, 7, 8, basically they take in information that kind of builds them. Basically they're trying to understand what's going on about themselves as well, and also about the environment, and so to a point that they actually mimic a lot of things as kids. But it's important that at a young age you start introducing elements of like not restricting what a boy should do, or restricting what a girl should wear, or you know what I mean. Yes, we like our little daughters wearing pink and stuff like that, you know, but it's about a conversation that says, okay, cool, what would you like to wear today, Madonna? I'd like to wear a Superman onesie, whatever, you know. Yes, it would be like, don't you want to be thinking, but you have to give them that option, you know. And I think to grow in any person, I think information helps you make better choices in life. So to a point where we are going to a generation where a lot of kids will be well informed in defining themselves. We need to get there, you know. We cannot say this is how it is. We need to give them options, which is what the next table is really about as well. Yeah.
Lebs, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm happy, man. Thank you, man, for coming through. I really believe there's a lot more to talk about.
I think this is the first of
you are the first of. I mean, I think you're gonna have to come back, man, and elaborate on more and hash out some conversations on Tab0.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, I'm good, man. When can we expect the next Table Manners breakfast?
So the next one is on the 1st of December. So we have a nice guest called Dego. Actually used to go to school with him. He has an NGO, but we're really going to be talking about decision making and life or self-shaping, which in his NGO he really works with people of Asistrati, you know, the unfortunate guys, Abo Nyaube guys, you know, and he's going to be really bringing an aspect of people that almost don't have a choice versus us who do have a choice, and how do we then inform ourselves to make better choices in life. So that's what it's going to be about. So 1st of December, 44 Stanley. It's a 10-seater seating, already sold out 24 hours. And
Black coffee.
Selling out now.
So I'd like to invite other men in the other ones that are coming. We're going to kickstart again in Jan. After this one,
we need to be part of that.
Yeah, we need to be part
please,
of that.
Please, guys, please. It's absolutely important. You know, It's absolutely important. And thank you guys for having me.
Oh, wait, and how can people get a hold of you on social media?
Social media.
Yeah. That's the buzz.
That's where we found you.
Yeah, that's where we found you.
Yeah, man. So on Facebook, it's Cebo Latha. So it's CEBOLATHA.
It'll flash somewhere here.
Flash.
Otherwise, we just finished off the page, Facebook page, Table Manners, on Facebook. Please like. And also on Instagram, it's Tamela __. So yeah, this is fun.
That's where we at, man. And yeah, you can also catch us on Facebook, on Twitter. It's @YouDon'tSay.
Yeah.
And on Instagram as well.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
Why you don't say? It seems like
outside
you
just
don't say.
Look, you know, I'm a gent,
Yeah.
and I tell you something that's like juicy or
Yeah,
it's
okay.
like, yo, don't know like if I didn't tell you and then Jelly me would say,
Yeah.
this
Okay.
so you kind of
Yeah.
flipped it. You don't
Okay.
say. It's
Outside,
like,
just
yeah,
like-
outside
In the
just
bang
like-
English, go bang at you don't say.
No, that's how. I know feminine girl cool.
Hey man, hey,
No,
part of
thing
the
is,
road.
sometimes it's like as you share insights and observations. You know, I meet you for the first time. I'm like, wow, okay. You don't say, and it sort of like interrogates what informs and shapes your opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But we
Dope,
out,
dope,
we out, guys. We're out.
Yeah, that's a wrap.
We're out of time. We're out of
Thank
time.
you for tuning
Let's
in.
continue the conversation online, guys. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can
Instagram.
people do that on Instagram?
Bruh, sure, this guy. We need a workshop for you. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Yeah, man. Cheers. We out.
We out.